Hi everyone, welcome to Wisdom Squared. It's August 2nd, 2017, and today I'd like to talk about gold and Bitcoin. Today especially when gold and silver, they're going down in price and Bitcoin is going up in price. Right now gold's at $12.64.70. It's down $9.70. Silver is $16.27. That is down 36 cents, where Bitcoin is trading at $2,830.02. It's up $55.02. So what's going on with these two? Why, if they're competing pretty much in the same category, they're basically people getting out of fiat currencies around the world, getting out of the dollar, getting out of the euro, getting out of the yen, the renminbi, Turkish lira, you name it. This is what these assets are for. So they're basically brother-sister. But what's the difference between them? What are the similarities? What's it all about? Well, what is gold? And gold is dead cores of stars that have previously collided and exploded as a supernova. So if you let that sink in just for a bit, you got dead stars crashing together, creating insane amount of energy and going throughout the galaxies. That's pretty crazy. What's Bitcoin? Bitcoin is going to be a blockchain technology, and its worth is also that the energy used to create it. The digital ledger is basically the evidence of all the transactions of what is going on. So it provides a lot of value. You can see what's happening. It takes down on the fraud, and it's a human-made resource. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful technology, and it's kind of way our world has been moving forward with this huge tech boom, from internet to cell phones to digital currency. Anyways, right now there's a lot of problems and uncertainty going on in Turkey. So, for example, their March gold imports were up an incredible 1,479% higher than the year previously. So why do people do this? What's going on? With all this uncertainty going around the world, especially in certain countries like your Venezuela, your Turkey, they import gold because gold is what people use in uncertain times. And what's going on with gold going down, even though the world is on the knife edge of World War III, countries are failing? Well, the gold and silver are traded on a COMEX, and people that have followed the COMEX, it's just one place where you can go and trade it. I mean, I'm not talking about going and trading on eBay, but the actual price of what gold is set from paper dollars is coming from the COMEX. And there's been so much manipulation and speculation of all this manipulation over years and years' time that the COMEX kind of has a monopoly on what's going on with the price fix. The beautiful thing about Bitcoin is it trades on exchanges. So it's not just one single place. So if you went to Kraken, you could trade Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes down $50-$75 on Kraken compared to it going on Coinbase, you could take your Bitcoin from Kraken, move it over to Coinbase, and then you could be up $75 by just moving it and paying a small fee to move it from point A to point B. So the exchanges create competition, and it's more of a form of capitalism rather than this just total monopoly that's played out on the COMEX. And that's one real advantage that the cryptocurrencies have over gold and silver. So what are some real benefits of Bitcoin? Well, the speed of the transactions of Bitcoin. It's just absolutely beautiful that you can be sitting in the United States and ship a whole bunch of money over to China. Boom, just like that. You're going to take a small little fee to pay that from going to point A to point B, but it's going to be much, much lower than using Western Union. It's going to be much, much lower than having to use your banks. And say you were to use a huge sum of money to go to point A to point B with the banks, that could take days. I mean, it could be 3 business days. So if you're trading on a Saturday, you may not get there till Wednesday. You'd be faster to get into a plane and go from America to China with a bag full of cash and pay it out that way than dealing with the banks. Another thing that's beautiful about Bitcoin is there's no middleman. It's independent of the banks. So you don't have all these fees that are associated with it. It's just one person to another person. That's it. There's no one skimming off the top with Bitcoin. And again, that's another beautiful part about it. It's anonymous. It's practically anonymous. And there's other cryptos out there like Monero that you can use that are completely anonymous. There's no tracking. What is that? Why is that important? Well, it's freedom. You don't have someone always looking over your shoulder what you can do. And this also plays out in taxes and how people aren't paying government taxes or having to pay the banks, or they just want to say, hey, you provide a service to me, I'm going to pay you. Someone comes over and cuts your lawn, you give them $20. Are they paying taxes on that? I mean, are they supposed to be paying taxes? So you kind of get the point of that's how Bitcoin works. Now, gold. Well, what are some real positives about gold? Well, gold is basically indestructible, and it's also anonymous. These are really beautiful things about it. But gold is a safe space to place your assets during a time of uncertainty. And the beautiful part about gold is it's been around forever. And people have been trading it basically forever. And when you look at a thing like Bitcoin came out in 2009. So you don't have that certainty with Bitcoin. And that's what scares people about using Bitcoin. And also, it's really hard to wrap your head around. Where if you look at gold, it's like, oh, wow, that is a beautiful, shiny object. That's why people say they have gold fever. It can make a person go nuts. Again, you got to look at, go buy a gold silver ounce or a gold ounce and just stare at it. It's absolutely beautiful. And again, if it's tried, tested, and true. The problem with gold, though, is if I want to send it from the U.S. to China, it's going to take time. And if I want to bring a lot of it, you've got to hold it, especially silver. Silver is just so much heavier compared to gold. It's more volume if you compare the size, quantity. So if you were going to move 500 ounces of silver, it's going to be a lot compared to value of 500 ounces of silver to how much that equates to gold. That's one of the main negatives of gold. They've always said that gold is the best answer. It's the best solution to the system. But now with Bitcoin out there, people are kind of seeing different ways. And again, if someone came over and cut your grass, you could pay them out in gold, and you could just have a physical exchange. But it's that distance. If I want to take it from the United States to Japan, that's where that issue comes into play, and where Bitcoin is just the speed alone is going to beat it out. Anyways, you really have to try to weigh the two and do your homework, do your research. But most people right now that are really pro cryptos, like extremely pro cryptos that I've seen. They're representing more 30% into physical gold and silver and 5% into cryptos. A guy like Jeff Berwick is big time into Bitcoin and the rest of cryptos. That's what he's recommending. I mean, I'm obviously not a financial expert, but if you want to get into some speculations with these things, it's a good time. It's like the Wild Wild West, and it makes it very entertaining. You can stack your gold, you can stack your silver. You know, it's pretty boring stuff unless you get into the rounds, stuff like Silver Shield. But the Bitcoin market right now, the crypto market, it's fun. It's entertaining. But I recommend you take a look at both. Again, do your research, do your homework, and thank you for listening.